Fuck. Cancelled.
Take us to 5.
I don't even get a chance to catch my breath. But, I mean, Eric, you opened that up with Mike's going to crucify me, so I'll do the same. Mike's going to crucify me. At number 5, I have Cape Fear.
Oh my god! Someone's trying to kill me! Oh, wait, it's for Bart.
It's on your list. Why would I care?
Because it's not high enough.
Okay.
Cape Fear, of course, the spoof of
Cape Fear?
what was that movie called?
The bus that wouldn't slow down. It's the Billy and the Clonosaurus. Is that Martin Scorsese remake of a 1960 movie, Terror Lake?
Terror Lake, that's it. Yeah, this one actually opened up right away. It opened up on Krusty's show, and he made like a homosexual joke, and they booed it. And I was like, oh, this is really progressive for like season 5.
I don't remember that scene. It was actually McBain who said it.
Oh, it was
They
McBain.
brought McBain like to do like comedy stuff again. He's
that's
like,
what it was.
It makes you look like a homosexual. Oh, maybe you all are homosexuals too.
I was just like, oh, that's really progressive, because in 1993,
3. Yep.
Jesus, that would have been like very common. And then we get Martin dressed as Lizzie Borden, which is frightening.
Starring Martin Prince as Lizzie.
40 whacks with a wet noodle, Bart!
Basically, this is Sideshow Bob in prison, sending Bart death threats. Which for some reason the Simpsons family has no idea who it could be, despite them showing up at the when they finally see him in the theater, laughing hysterically. They seem so shocked that Sideshow Bob, you're out of prison. You've been sending Bart the letters. It's like, well, no shit. Who else would want to kill Bart? Like that's literally the whole point of Sideshow Bob's existence in the show.
Yeah.
But
But Homer did send him one.
This one's done in different handwriting.
Oh, I wrote that one after Bart somehow put this tattoo on my foot.
One of my favorite parts, though, is when Marge takes the letters to Chief Wiggum to be like, you need to do something. It's like, what? There's nothing illegal about this?
Yeah.
And then, who is it? I forgot the cop's name.
Lewis? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. But anyways, the cop shows up. He's like, actually, Chief, it says here this could be considered uttering threats. And he's like, well, I'll be damned. He like starts looking at it. He's like, oh, look at that.
It's also illegal to put squirrels down your pants for the purposes of gambling. Boys, knock it off.
So funny. And this is how I knew about your Entertainment Weekly list. Is this was the third greatest episode on that same list in 2003. And Al Jean, former showrunner, said it was not only his favorite Sideshow Bob episode, but his favorite episode overall.
Nice.
I like the Sideshow Bob Hitler comparison.
No, that's German for the Bart. The.
No one who speaks German could be an evil man.
And then, of course, later on they show him working out, and he's got like another like kill Bart on the back. It's like, okay, they didn't bring out that tattoo, I guess. And then they just start showing him doing jazzercise as part of his scary workout technique. But he says something about, at the same Pearl hearing, he says something about like,
Dank urine-soaked hellhole.
We object to the term urine-soaked hellhole when you could have said pee-pee-soaked heckhole.
Cheerfully withdrawn.
So, of course, once they realize it's Sideshow Bob and he's trying to kill Bart, they have to go into witness protection. And
one of the greatest moments in Simpsons history.
We get the Thompson, the Thompsons opening. They're like, we'll change your name. You will now be Homer Thompson. Yeah. So let's practice. Hello, Mr. Thompson. No response. And then hours later.
Oh, now, when I say hello, Mr. Thompson, and press down on your foot, you smile and nod.
No problem.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
I think he's talking to you.
And they also get witness protection merchandise.
To announce to the world that they're on witness protection.
Yeah. He's got a hat with the initials on it, and he's got like witness protection agency on his shirt.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As is when they show up to their houseboat, and
Yeah.
Homer gives the speech.
Whoa, a houseboat. You know, the great thing is, if you don't like your neighbors, you can just pull up the anchor and sail someplace else.
We skipped over the cactus patch.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that. You jumped ahead.
Yeah.
But yes, on their drive as they go to Terror Lake, there's of course the cactus. Who wants to take a shortcut? Well, first you get like the speed bumps and shit.
I love these speed bumps.
They show Sideshow Bob under the car and they're driving over speed bumps. And he's like, hey,
Kids, want to drive through that cactus patch?
Yeah.
No.
Whoop, 2 against 1.
because they think Maggie said no, I guess. Because not even Marge.
Yeah,
like Homer,
no one questioned it.
Homer we know is an idiot, so it's like that would be perfectly normal for him, but Marge didn't say anything. So then in Terror Lake, where they moved, very wholesome area miles away from Springfield, the Simpsons stay on the houseboat, like Eric mentioned, and Sideshow Bob stays at a motel called Bates Motel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even has the stuffed owls on the wall.
Yeah, wonder where they got that idea from. And then, of course, you get the classic Homer scaring Bart in bed.
Yeah. You want some brownie before you go to bed? Come on, let me cut you a brownie while they're still hot.
Dad, I'm kind of edgy right now. I'd appreciate you not coming in my room screaming and brandishing a butcher knife.
Why? Oh, right.
Bart, I want to see my new chainsaw, don't give ass!
Oh, sorry. What am I thinking?
And then, of course, I forgot to mention the Sideshow Bob versus Rakes when they first stopped.
Oh, yeah. And for some reason, there's just like 40 rakes on the ground.
Well, that's the thing. They pan out, and he just like
he keeps going to the same 3 over and over
exactly.
again.
It's not like he's missing them. But then when he steps on the houseboat, finally, there's a rake there too.
Yeah, and he throws
and
it in the river.
on.
But here's a throwaway gag that you didn't mention that for some reason I thought was hilarious when they first move in, and Marge is like,
Homer, where's the dog?
I tied him up out back.
I do remember that.
And like he's gonna eventually get caught.
yeah, because he's gonna run out of
Probably
leash.
Yeah.
But he's smiling like a dumbass, enjoying the yard.
Yeah. Actually, both my picks had their pet swimming because in the Stonecutters one, it starts with the flooding of the basement. And they're like,
Oh, yeah.
and I think our cat's down here, and then you just see a cattail going around. And then they're once Bob wakes Bart up and Bart's running back and forth on the boat.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
When they're all tied up at the back.
Oh, that's actually right next. That was the next thing I was going to say.
And Lisa's like,
Oh, no. Dad's been drugged. No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
and her delivery, she's so sincerely angry.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly said, it cracks me up every time.
Yeah, Homer's sleeping. They're all legs and arms tied up. And
Drooling to death too. Like fucking.
yeah.
And he's not drugged, he just passed out, and she's so pissed at him.
Yeah, that was literally my next thing. And then, of course, Bart takes on his Sideshow Bob's love of show tunes by getting him to sing the whole...
HMS Pinafore.
There you go. HMS Pinafore. And that so happens the length of the show gets them into Springfield, where they just so happen to drift past a brothel.
Yeah.
That all the cops
That all
are
the
at.
cops are at the brothel.
You're under arrest.
By Lucifer's beard!
Yeah. It's a good thing you drifted by this brothel.
Again, a joke you don't catch as a kid, but
Yeah.
now you realize it.
Yeah, and then of course when they're leaving for Terror Lake, they're like, I think that takes care of everything. And then Grandpa shows up. Hello.
Hello! You have my pills! Hello! I'm cold and there are wolves after me.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they show up and Grandpa's still in the front yard.
Look what happened without my pills!
Bart, run upstairs, get Grandpa's medicine.
Not so fast. I want to court this fair young maiden.
You missed the best police line.
What?
When we're putting him away in the thing, and Bart's like,
Take him away, boys.
Hey, I'm the chief here. Take him away, toys.
What'd you say, Chief?
Do what the kid says.
Good times. So yeah, Cape Fear, my number 5, written by John Vitti, season 5. Al Jean's favorite episode and Entertainment Weekly's third favorite. Over to Eric for his number 5.
Dun 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 dun. So this one is obligatory for me. You'll know when I say what it is. It had to be in the top 10. It just happened to be number 5 because of how much I enjoyed it. Season 8, Episode 3, The Homer They Fall.
You know, boxing might be right up your alley.
Really?
Oh, please, it's the good life, Homer. Some of these boxers, they eat steak and lobster and salad bar all in a single meal.
Dressing?
Their choice.
It's the only boxing episode in all of Simpsons.
Right!
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because boxing, you guys don't know this, they do. It's the only sport I like. So of course I'm going to like the only boxing episode, but it is legitimately funny and actually belongs in the top 10 for me. This one has the Simpsons version of Mike Tyson, who's Drederick Tatum.
Yep.
The same way they have Rainier Wolfcastle for Arnold. He even speaks with a lisp. They have a fake Don King named Lucius Sweet.
Yep.
And Homer even makes a comment saying, hey, he looks like Don King and all this, and he keeps saying Don King, but it's like, no, it's Lucius Sweet.
Yeah. Did you know that is not Drederick Tatum's first appearance in the Simpsons series?
No, yeah, I'm trying to remember what his first one is, but I think it's the first time they mentioned his name, though. But I think his appearance was before?
No. He was mentioned before. He was mentioned in a season 3 episode that may or may not be on my list. And they cut to famous people from Springfield on Kent Brockman's news or whatever.
And we visit with heavyweight champion Drederick Tatum, who reminisces about growing up in Springfield.
That town is a dump. If you ever see me back there, you know I really up bad.
Oh my God,
I guess pushing your mother down the stairs qualifies as fucking up real bad.
Okay, so yeah, that episode starts with them at the mall.
I guess I know what's in your episode.
That episode starts with them at the mall, and they're going to one of those showcase stores where they have the as seen on TV stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And comic book guy's trying to return his utility belt.
Yes, finally. I would like to return your quote-unquote ultimate belt. I see. Do you have a receipt? Quote-unquote, sir? No, I do not have a receipt. I won it as a door prize at the Star Trek convention, although I find their choice of prize highly illogical, as the average Trekker has no use for a medium-sized belt.
Whoa, fat, sarcastic Star Trek fan. You must be a devil with the ladies.
Hey, gee, I hate to let you down, Casanova, but no receipt, no return.
I'll give you $4 for it.
Very well. I must hurry back to my comic book store, where I dispense the insults rather than absorb them.
And then Bart's trying to show it off at school and all the unique little toys on it.
Wow! I bet if God wore pants, he'd have a belt like that. This isn't a belt, it's a tactical pants retaining system. Check it out. Compass, matches, whistle, saw, panic button, squirrel snare, radon/lie detector, sphygmomanometer, and it's even got turn signals.
And then Jimbo wants it, so he's like,
Want to trade belts?
Well, not really, because yours is just a piece of extension cord.
Hey, dude, he's ragging on your cord. Get him!
No running! Time for a little evasive action.
Hey, he's turning left!
Help! 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 Help!
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you guys asked for it. Can't you read? Call the police!
Now, I was trying to think, this is an aside. It's Jimbo Kearney. What's the other bully's name?
Dolph, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He rarely gets lines, but it's Dolph.
Yeah, it's in one of my episodes later on, and it's like literally everyone's here except those three, and I was like, Kearney, Jimbo, I don't remember the other kid. All right,
But
Dolph.
they don't feel like using Nelson. Like we have other bullies.
Yeah.
So he tells Homer about it, and Homer's like, all right, I'm gonna go squeal on their dads for you.
That's for telling me how to raise my lousy kid.
This is for the crummy life I've had to live. The thing is, Bart really loves that belt, and
Hey, something's wrong with this guy. He's not falling down.
Fun's over, fellas. If you're gonna beat up my friend in my bar, there's a 2-drink minimum.
And then Homer's depressed about how he couldn't get the belt back for Bart, but then Moe's like, hey, you're taking bigger punches than some prize fighters I know. And that's what he's like,
you used to be a boxer just like me?
Yup, they called me Kid Gorgeous. Later on, it was Kid Presentable. Then Kid Gruesome. And finally, Kid Mo.
Hey, what's it?
That's my old spit bucket. Yeah, I've been meaning to empty that out.
He decides to turn Homer into a boxer to make Bart proud.
Yeah.
Then they trying to train him.
All right, Homer, let's see the left. Okay. Let's see the right.
Just a second.
When you're ready.
All right. Ready. Wait a minute. All right. Wait a minute, just a sec. Yeah.
Okay, punching isn't your thing, but that's okay. You're not that kind of fighter. What you're gonna do is stand there while your opponent gets exhausted from over-punching.
Then I can just push him over.
That's right, and if the ref's not looking, you can kick him a couple of times.
So then they go to their first fight where he fights a homeless guy in Moe's bar where they put up like a makeshift ring.
Yeah.
And like the whole time the homeless guy's just like hitting Bart, or hitting Homer, and he's just standing there taking it in like Lenny's like,
Man, that tramp's got the energy of a hobo.
Yeah, he never stops punching, except to check on his bindle.
and then finally he gets exhausted after a period of time and Homer just nudges him over. And then they have a montage of him just winning his fights all the same way. And they're all homeless people, and all their nicknames have something to do with a train yard.
Yeah.
That's where they're all from.
Yeah.
And then finally gets to Dredrick Tatum finally getting out of prison for pushing his mom down the stairs, like you said.
Lucius, hey, what's a glitterati like you doing in my dump? I thought you were managing the champ.
Yes, managing Dredrick has been my highest priority, even though he is temporarily incarcerated for pushing his mother down the stairs. But with his impending release, I've been strategizing for his glorious return to the shores of Fistiana.
What?
His comeback fight. You know, boxing.
Oh, man, yeah, well, who's donating his body for that one, huh?
Well, word is you manage a stalwart young pugilist who cannot be knocked down.
Homer?
Mo, knowing Homer's gonna die, but he wants the money anyway, so he says, sure, we'll figure this out later. He sets him up to fight the heavyweight champion. And the best part is when they're doing the interview with Dredrick.
Dredrick, what do you think of Homer Simpson?
I think he's a good man. I like him. I got nothing against him, but I'm definitely gonna make orphans of his children.
You know, they do have a mother, champ.
Yes, but I would imagine that she would die of grief.
Dredrick, over here. Mr. Tatum.
Thank you, but the champ has no time for further queries. This parole hearing is over.
I don't know what it was like in prison.
But they turn it into the pre-fight interview.
As you would.
Oh, and then like the best section of the whole episode for me is the actual fight itself. When it begins, just every little thing that adds up. You have Homer's robe that doesn't even have his name on it, just says opponent.
Yeah.
And his ring entrance music is Why Can't We Be Friends?
Your boy looks a little soft, Mo. You do remember our arrangement?
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get your 3 rounds.
Due to popular demand, we will forego our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
He gets in the ring, and immediately after the first, the bell rings, he starts already getting woozy from the beating he's taking from Dredrick.
Okay, Homer, nothing to be worried about. Just...
Wow, I've never seen Dad hit somebody like that before. What are you talking about? Isn't Dad the one in the black trunks? No. Uh-oh. What am I missing? What?
Yeah.
And then Marge is walking through the crowd, and all you see is her hair sticking up. It's like, Homer!
Homer, he's not going to get tired. You've got to hit him back. Hit him back.
That cactus is right. I've only got one chance. I got to knock him out.
He barely survives one round.
Yeah.
And when the next round starts and Dredrick's about to basically kill him in the ring, Mo flies in on the fan man's fan.
Oh my God! Simpsons manager has flown into the ring and is airlifting him out. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever dignity remained in boxing is literally flying out the window.
Are you an angel?
Yes, Homer, I'm an angel. All us angels wear Farrah slacks.
And then
No, it was in the same round.
No, it was the next round. It's the beginning of the second
No,
round.
I remember, he at the end of the fight, Don King.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't even give me one lousy round, Mo. You will always be a loser. Now take your check for $100,000 and get out of my sight.
I don't need your stinking money.
And then Bart goes up to Homer and he's like,
I got your tooth, Dad.
Not mine.
I like the movie references. Obviously, Rocky. Everywhere, and
because that was Adrian running to the stage.
Yeah, and the other one was Raging Bull. It's almost a direct parody of
they do.
When it's Sugar Ray Robinson and Raging Bull, and he holds the fist up like that, and it's Dredrick Tatum holding that fist up too, and so I like the parodies there.
It's a solid episode, and of course it's the only boxing one. I'm glad that they did good with it, because I really enjoyed it, and again, I could have had more favoritism and put it higher, but it stopped at number 5.
Yeah.
It's a solid 5 for me.
Yeah,
It's season 8, episode 3.
I didn't have it in my honorable mentions, but I really should have. I don't know. I must have just perused
Forgot
by
about it.
it.
Because the way when I said the title, none of you guys understood until I said it. You're like, oh yeah, that episode existed.
Yeah. It was probably just when I was perusing to make the initial list, I probably just missed it based on the title. If it said Kid Mo.
Yeah, that's the thing. I couldn't remember. A lot of them are going by the episode title, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'd have to open up the video, watch it for a bit, and be like, oh my god, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Am I going to my number 5? All right. This is going to surprise you that I have it this low.
Low or high?
Keeping on with the sports themes, we have...
Talking softball.
Well, Mr. Burns had done it. The power plant had won it. With Roger Clemens clucking all the while. Mike Scioscia's tragic illness made us smile. While Wade Bucks lay unconscious on the barroom top. We're talking we're talking Homer at the bat.
No one is assured a spot in the starting lineup. I don't care if your name is Steve Sachs or Daryl Strawberry or... Smithers, what's one of the bad players' names?
Homer Simpson, sir?
Or Homer Simpson.
Season 3, episode whatever.
17.
It was late. It was...
Written by that guy who always wore a shirt. I don't know.
Roger Clemens.
Yeah.
It was John Swartzwelder that wrote it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Cool. All right. So,
Arnold Sweaty Welder.
Also directed by Jim Reardon, who I believe worked on Ratatouille. But anyways, yeah.
That's a tangent we don't need to get into.
But, so obviously this, when I was younger, was number 1. Because it's a fucking hilarious fucking episode from beginning to end. And it was to me, it's the watershed moment of The Simpsons where obviously the show was already promising and pretty funny before that one. but then it started like the comedic elements really hit their stride.
Yeah,
with that
whole new
episode, and,
level.
like it just reached a whole fucking new level.
Yeah, because that's a
with that
season
one.
3 episode.
Yeah.
Late season 3, yeah, which is
like-
really when they figured it
Like
out.
because you know you can tell like they dealt with a lot of mature themes in like the earlier episodes, and like there was some funny stuff, but it was mostly like very like
family oriented. They
a lot
really
more-
wanted to make it about lessons that you learn, not so
Yeah.
much just laughing at slapstick.
Yeah, but then it just went from that to like holy shit, like they can get so fucking funny. Like to me that was like the watershed episode. Even though there were good episodes before that, obviously with
And the
Bart Gibson.
cameos are all great.
Yeah, it's surprising because they were still relatively low budget. Fox was like a fledgling network at the time, that they were able to afford so many baseball players. Professional baseball players.
And
not
only
just-
3 seasons in, so it's not like The Simpsons was huge yet.
Yeah, and obviously the budget was pretty like tight at the time, even though they afforded Michael Jackson in the same season.
I wonder if it was like a charity thing that the baseball players decided to do.
Sorry, Michael Jackson episode? What are we talking about? What? There was a Michael Jackson episode?
That didn't happen.
I know. Fuck off. Anyways, so get physical media, folks. But anyways, like every the fucking voice acting is perfect. The way Homer builds his bat.
It's the origin of the bat.
Homie, come to bed. Homer, go back to the garage.
And here it is.
And he calls it like the Wonder Bat and everything, and it's such a great setup for later on in the episode. And then like he brings like I can't remember how did the company solve? Oh yeah, it was like basically just a yearly thing that they had a company softball
So I think it was either Homer was choking on donuts in like the break room.
Isn't there a first aid chart around here somewhere?
Somebody scare him.
That's for the hiccups. Ooh, hey, look at this. Softball starts this week.
Softball?
Like and Homer brings his bat to like the first game or whatever. He's like, I got this magic bat.
Check it out, boys. My magic bat.
That's it?
Yeah, I got a magic bat too.
And I got an enchanted jockstrap.
Yeah, just watch.
And like everyone else has their own version of a magic bat. Like
Only after he hits a home run.
Yeah, because they
with
don't
it.
believe him.
They're like, sure, and I got an enchanted jockstrap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the next game,
And
they
then
like,
he hits a home run, then they're like,
I
oh.
got my magic bat off a piano.
My sister let me use her wooden leg.
it's such a great setup for when they get like actual baseball stars, because literally Roger Clemens' first pitch like completely destroys
the Wonder Bat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how like basically the whole game with the professional players is basically just a fucking funny bet between billionaires.
Would you care to bet $1 million on that?
Oh, if we're going to bet, why don't we make it interesting?
What, $1 million isn't interesting to you?
Oh, did you say $1 million? I'm sorry, my mind was elsewhere. I thought you would start with a small amount, then we would bait each other, but you know how it goes. Yes, certainly, $1 million will be fine.
And it's funny because I pretty much would guess that like all those players would cost more than what Burns is betting.
So it's nothing to them.
And it leads to like some awesome fucking gags. Like
actually, it might be less. I'm remembering now when Smithers is going around recruiting them. He literally says $50,000 to play one game.
Yeah.
So what's 50,000? Okay, so like 450,000.
Yeah. So they're still winning.
So yeah, Burns is out 550,000 plus half a meatball. So I don't know. But it leads to like some great jokes before the game. Anyway, where like Ralph and Bart are playing like a softball game together. And
Pick me!
I picked Ken Griffey Jr. Aw, jeez. Okay, I'll take Millhouse. Hey, Mr. Boggs, will you be on my team?
You got yourself a player.
Damn.
And then like it's such a good episode already, but then when it gets to the fucking game, oh my god. It's fucking fantastic.
All the players that couldn't show up because of all their unique situations.
Yeah, and it's funny because like Burns is like, unless we're gonna kill them tomorrow unless my players fall to 9 separate misfortunes.
3 misfortunes? That's possible. 7 misfortunes? There's an outside chance. But 9 misfortunes? I'd like to see that.
Yeah, and it's funny because it actually doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's Daryl Strawberry.
And Mattingly doesn't really get, like, Burns kicks him off. Nothing happens bad to Mattingly. Burns just says, get out of here. So really, 7 is what happened.
Like, everything that fucking happens to them, like, what was it? Like, Mike Sosha, like, because he loves working at the plant so much, gets radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid you have a case of acute radiation poisoning, Mr. Socha.
Will I be able to play softball tomorrow?
No, by tomorrow you'll barely be able to breathe.
Oh.
And then, he gets fucking Ken Griffey Jr. hooked on nerve tonic.
Yeah, with his gigantism in his
gigantism.
Ken Griffey Jr. needs to see you immediately. We think it's an overdose of nerve tonic.
Good Lord. Gigantism.
And then Jose Canseco in the most unrealistic part of the whole episode, Jose Canseco helping people.
What about Canseco?
The dryer goes on the right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, did you hear the story behind that?
What?
Jose Canseco, originally in the script, it was that him and Edna were going to have an affair.
Oh.
And his wife, Jose Canseco's real wife, was like, no, that can't happen. So they rewrote it at the last second. So that's why that became...
He got stuck in that flaming
But yeah,
house.
originally it was supposed to be Jose Canseco and Edna Krabappel had an affair.
Yeah.
And
Ozzie
ran off
Smith
together.
disappeared off the face of the earth.
And he somehow, like, Jose Canseco has the strength to move all of that stuff out of the house.
Yeah.
I wonder how he got that strength. Anyways. And of course, it was Ozzie Smith falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Ozzie Smith seems to have vanished off the face of the earth.
You got 3
Steve
more.
Sachs.
Steve Saxon is running with the law.
Well, Steve Sachs from New York City.
I heard some guy got killed in New York City and they never solved the case. But you wouldn't know anything about that now, would you, Steve?
But there's hundreds of unsolved murders in New York City.
You don't know when to keep your mouth shut, do you, sexy boy?
So
Who got hypnotized?
Hypnotized. No, that was pretty much everybody.
That was Clemens.
At the end, the chicken.
Yeah,
Clemens.
Roger Clemens.
What about Clemens?
Sir, he's in no condition to play.
That damn hypnotist. You, look what you've done. My starting pitcher thinks he's a chicken.
And
There was one more. Which one?
Sideburns.
Yeah,
No, I
Don
wasn't counting
Mattingly
that.
with the sideburns.
Mattingly! I thought I told you to trim those sideburns. Go home. You're off the team for good.
Fine. I still like him better than Steinbrenner.
Yeah, I wasn't counting him or Daryl Strawberry. That was only 6 that we've gone through. What's the 7th? Oh, Wade Boggs!
England's greatest prime minister was Lord Palmerston.
Hit the elder.
Lord Palmerston!
Hit the elder.
Okay, you asked for it, Boggs! Ah!
And Moses like, pit the elder.
Palmerston!
And you wonder how the fuck they could have that fucking argument. Funny story, actually, Pitt the Elder, the town Pittsburgh is actually named after him.
Oh, is it? I did not know that. That's fun.
Yeah, so, and who wrote this episode? It was written by John Swartzwelder.
I said that already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did.
You literally said, I'll look this up, and I was like, nah, I got it.
Wow, I'm a moron. Anyways, so... Yeah, every single fucking part of that episode's fucking hilarious. The ending of it just fucking...
Mr. Burns' original lineup with Mordecai Three Finger Brown.
Honus Wagner, Cap Anson, Mordecai Three Finger Brown.
Sir?
What is it, Smithers?
I'm afraid all those players have retired and passed on. In fact, your right fielder has been dead for 130 years.
Damnation!
A very joke that wouldn't fly today, but he talks about like he's gonna scan players from the American League, the National League, the League.
You could say Negro League.
Yeah.
The Negro League is like adopted by Major League Baseball as a branch of the Major League Baseball in this days. But I think that would still work because it just shows how out of touch Burns is.
Yeah.
Thinks they're still a Negro League.
Yeah. And so It's so fucking funny from beginning to end, and like,
and with Homer's luck, the only player remaining is his position, so he doesn't get to play.
But he does.
Like, and then like the fucking ending where like Burns is like puts on his manager cap pretty much, and like,
you're pitch hitting for me?
Yes. You see, you're a left-hander, and so is the pitcher. If I send up a right-handed batter, it's called playing the percentages. It's what smart managers do to win ball games.
But I've got 9 home runs today.
You should be very proud of yourself.
And then before that, he's like, Strawberry, hit a home run, and Strawberry just like,
we'll do Skip.
Hits
sure
one
thing,
out
Skip.
in the fucking highway, and
I told him to do that.
Yep.
Even before that, it reminded me when they're at the power plant and they're showing like the new listing of who's on the team, and Homer's like,
You're Daryl Strawberry.
Yes.
You play right field.
Yes.
I play right field too.
So?
Well, are you better than me?
Well, I never met you, but yes.
The delivery on that line is so perfect.
I also like when he's reading the lineup card to be like, did I make the team?
Right.
Yeah, all right. Ah, nuts. Please, I want to make the team. Clemens, did I make the team?
You sure did.
I did! Woohoo! Woohoo! In your face, Strawberry!
Wait a minute, are you Ken Griffey Jr.?
No.
Sorry, didn't mean to get your hopes up.
So he becomes the alternate.
One thing I did notice that managed to age very, very well, you know the scene where Lisa and Bart are like,
Daryl!
Children, that's not very nice.
Mom, they're professional athletes. They're used to this sort of thing. It rolls right off their backs.
Yeah.
when he wipes his tear by going under his nose like this.
He had a cocaine habit.
Yeah. Some cocaine joke.
Yeah. It's like Bart just like, kids, don't bother him like
I'm sure
that.
it was unintentional, but I looked at it and I'm like,
Was it unintentional though? Maybe when they recorded the episode it was fine, and then stuff came out afterwards.
Maybe they noticed him.
Let's him do this.
Maybe they noticed him like doing lines while he was like fucking recording his
But
voice.
shortly after that scene, one of my favorites too is when Marge is videoing it because Homer's benched the whole time.
Oh, dear. Children, tell me when your father stopped scratching himself. Kids?
We'll tell you, Mom.
Yeah, it's like a great episode, the best episode of season 3.
By far has the best ending song.
Talking softball, Mattingly and Canseco, Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw, Steve Sachs and his running with the law. We're talking Homer.
Yeah,
that song is so fucking perfect. I don't even know what it's a parody of. It
was an 80s song called Talkin' Baseball. They got the same guy that sang that song.
Nice.
And they just changed the lyrics.
Yeah, to do Talkin' Softball, and they parodied it by the same guy.
Like, it was pretty much the watershed episode of like, you had old Simpsons and then modern
back then,
season 3 to 10 Simpsons, like
the golden
that's
years.
the watershed one.
Yeah, that was where it crossed into the greatness that
the great beyond.
Yeah, the great Simpsons renaissance, I guess.
Yeah. The Industrial Revolution.
When it really came into its own.
Yep.
Sort of thing. And fantastic episode, and that's my number 5.
Cool. All right, and at my number 4 position, I have an episode called Mr. Plow.
I can't believe you bought that plow. We can't afford it.
If you're gonna get mad at me every time I do something stupid, then I guess I'll just have to stop doing stupid things.
Good.
That episode again is Mr. Plow. This is basically just what it sounds like. Homer gets a plow and is the plow king of Springfield until there's a legitimate plow king that usurps him. So this one starts off with Homer wanting to stay at the bar to watch TV for some reason. I don't understand. He's got a TV at home. Maybe it was like a pay-per-view thing, but it just seemed like a regular show. And then when he gets home, he lies about it because Marge doesn't want him at the bar.
Don't tell him you were at a bar. But what else is open at night? It's a pornography store. I was buying pornography. I would have never thought of that.
And then they go to... I don't even know what it is. It's like a consumer show. And there's that Win This Car girl.
Do you come with a car?
Oh, you.
And then, of course, we get an Adam West cameo.
Adam West! Hey, kids! Batman!
Dad, that's not the real Batman.
Of course I'm Batman. See, here's a picture of me with Robin.
Who the hell's Robin?
Yep.
Which I thought was funny, but at the same time I was like, is this what made him get Family Guy?
Yeah.
So then that made me sad. And there was the wonderful late night infomercial of the sea shanty CD.
Please blow the man down. Row, row, row your boat in the Navy. Come on and join your fellow man.
That was after Homer had already gotten the plow and he was waiting till like 3 a.m. for his commercial to play. And it's like, it's typical of every TV show that ever does a fake commercial. The acting is always so bad in it. The best acting is Bart being like,
You are fully bonded and licensed by the city, aren't you, Mr. Plow?
Shut up, boy.
you know, at that point, Homer's already become a superstar plowman as Mr. Plow. And we find out that Marge has a jacket kink?
That name again is Mr. Plow. Our forecast calls for flurries of passion, followed by extended periods of getting it on.
She's attracted to success.
Yeah, I guess. But he was already, like, not successful at the end. When it does it again. He's like, all because you're not Mr. Plow anymore doesn't mean... Or it's just like, well, you still have the jacket, right? It's like, oh, Marge is kinky. What isn't kinky is Barney in a diaper. And what do they call those fucking baby hats?
Oh, bonnets.
Bonnets, yeah. Being like, no one takes these flyers. And then Homer ends up telling him, like,
Well, wishing won't make it so. You gotta pull up your diaper, get out there, and be the best damn Barney you can be. Here I come, world! Ah!
and then he opens up his own plow business, Plow King, which quickly takes over Homer's, which I don't understand, because Homer's already been given, like, the key to the city. He's a big name. Does, like, you're the marketing expert, Eric. Like, doesn't first to market mean something?
Not if your competitor undercuts you.
I suppose. And, I mean...
And if Barney just wakes up earlier and gets to the places before Homer does.
Yeah, but usually, like, plow work is contracts work. But, yeah, you could say that
Not
I can do it earlier.
town.
Yeah. And, I mean, there is the, later on when Homer sends Barney to Death Peak or whatever.
Yeah, on a false run.
Yeah, whatever it is. Being like, I'll pay you $10,000. He's like, I'll be there. So then he goes to his customers and the girl says, like...
Oh, could you make sure not to scrape my asphalt?
Kiss my asphalt.
Probably not a great plow driver. It's probably just like the only one, and he had a jingle that was snappy. But,
he cornered the market. It was his only success.
Yeah. And we also get a flashback that Barney, kind of going with the film festival one, like Barney was a genius until Homer had him drink beer.
Yeah, in high school.
I don't know. The SATs are tomorrow. I've got 2 words for you. Mellow out, man. All right, just one. If it'll get you off my back.
And yeah, he made him a alcoholic when he was trying to study for his SATs, and his life's just been downhill. So like, Homer's like a pretty bad person in this one. But he also, when Barney does his new commercial with, I forget who the celebrity is, the country singer,
Lurleen.
No,
Lurleen,
it's like a real celebrity, not a made up Simpsons one. But they're like,
Wow, Linda Ronstadt!
Linda Ronstadt? How'd you get her?
Oh, we've been looking for a project to do together for a while.
then they sing like the country tune Plow
Yeah.
King. So they're like, oh, we can just update. You need to update your jingle, and Homer starts rapping.
Boom, 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 boom. I'm Mr. Plow, and I'm here to say I'm the plowingest guy in the USA. I got a big plow, and I'll move a lot of things, just like your cow if you have one.
Stop it right now.
Promise you'll never do that again.
All right.
And then I also noticed, so Homer, after he's been taken over by Barney, they make Homer give back the key to the city, and Barney looks miserable when he's like at that ceremony.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of snow plow people.
So I don't know if they used like an old animation cell that they had of just...
They didn't want to redraw his face.
Yeah, but it's like... It's like maybe he's upset that he's taken away from his friend and it's dawned on him, but like he's never been upset before this or after this. But in the end, you get the thrilling conclusion where Homer ends up going up to save Barney because Barney was stuck teetering on the edge, and Homer saves him, and they realize that their friendship's more important, and Homer steps aside being Mr. Plow, and gets his plow repoed. And I guess, does Barney ever show up as Plow King again? I don't remember it.
It was a one and done.
Maybe they both decided they would stop plowing?
Snow just stopped happening in Springfield.
Yeah, they were like, we've already done a couple Christmas episodes. This was season 4. It's like, yeah, we're good. But yeah, that's my my number 4, Mr. Plow, written by John Vitti.
And I love driving the Plow King truck in Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes, yeah, that's right. You get the Plow King truck, but you don't get the.
You actually
Mr.
do get
Plow.
the Mr. Plow as well,
do you?
yeah. But it's not as good.
It's just like a reskin.
Yep.
Okay, my number 4. Mike will be happy about this. Season 6, episode 9.
69, nice.
Yeah. Homer Badman.
You grabbed me in the car!
Oh, that. No, I was just grabbing a gummy Venus de Milo that got stuck to your pants.
Yeah, right. That's the oldest excuse in the book.
Come on, I'm a decent guy.
That was on my list. We had an overlap.
That was literally the last one eliminated. Like, that was number 11 on mine, so that's really funny.
Although I probably have way different reasons for liking it.
Yeah. Like, that one is just... It's another one from, like, childhood that I remember being hilarious, and upon rewatching, it still holds up. The jokes still land.
Yeah.
I just love the way it starts with the candy convention, and Homer steals the sour candy that Frank was working on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you can see, I have created a lemon ball so sour, it can only be safely contained in a magnetic field. The candy, known as 77X42, is great. Where the hell is the candy?
I don't know.
And then when he finally sees the gummy Venus de Milo.
Now, this is going to take all my skill. Halt! Run, Marge! Save the booty!
After him! He has to get it!
Oh, even before that, he fucking, he only has 2 tickets. I don't remember how he gets them. Do you remember?
No, I can't remember.
But they only had 2, and then the kids wanted to go, and they're like,
Oh, well, thank you, Homer. But take one of the kids.
Marge, they can't carry enough candy. They have puny little muscles, not big ropey ones like you.
She can carry more candy with the custom-made, like, trench coat he builds her with all pockets hidden inside.
Homer, are all these pockets necessary?
They wouldn't be if you were willing to sit in a hollowed-out wheelchair.
And they're like, do it, Mom, it's for us. We're willing to sacrifice this for the candy. And then they go there, and he sees the Venus de Milo that he gets obsessed with, and he buys it. Or, did he buy it or steal it? I know he stole the gumball, but I can't remember if he actually bought the Venus or if he stole it.
I can't remember. I think he might have bought it.
Here's how you fix it. He bought it. He stole it.
Yeah.
Use whatever one works.
Because I feel like that's what caused all the candy convention people to chase after him, and on his way out, he fucking takes like a thing of Pop Rocks.
See you in hell, candy boys!
Runs away and blows up the candy convention, killing everyone in it for what, a gag.
You know what that's a reference of? Like that scene? Demolition Man, when Sly like is running like that building of all the fucking like frozen prisoners is exploding, and he's like running and like jumping out and everything.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I just remember like seeing that scene and be like, he just murdered people. And then it just cuts them at home, and the kids are swimming inside Marge's coat looking for candy. They're like crawling around like the squirrels in the pants.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start eating the candies, and then Marge makes him take the babysitter home. And the babysitter's like a grad student that's in feminist. What was she studying?
I don't know, like I can't remember.
I think it was like something to do with feminism.
Yeah, she was a feminist, though.
Yeah, and then Homer, not realizing it, she sat on his Venus de Milo.
Precious Venus. Thank you.
And then that quickly makes it on the news that he groped her. And then everything just goes tits up from there. Pun intended.
Oof.
Those sweet cans, sweet cans.
Oh man.
Oh my god. And then everyone just like assumes that Homer is the sexual deviant and they won't stop like filming helicopters around his house and everyone's like camping out in his yard and he's like, you people, you can't stop me from living my life.
Do your worst, protesters. You can't stop me from living my life.
No respect for women, no peace.
Just try to put the right buttons now.
We aren't crazy about nuclear power either.
You people aren't allowed in here.
It's okay. There was me.
And then when he goes home, they're like, the news are just trying to find any way to incriminate him.
Yeah.
They catch him coming out of the shower and he panics and falls. And
Simpsons scandal update. Homer sleeps nude in an oxygen tent, which he believes gives him sexual powers.
Hey, that's a half-truth.
Which always made me laugh to him, like, which half of that is true?
Or
it's such a good line.
They get the infrared and like
the chick turkey's
and it's
roasting in the oven.
obvious that Homer's in the living room, but they just point towards like the fucking oven and he's like slowly.
There's Homer rotating them and soaking in his own juices.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then he finally gets invited to go on. Was it Hard Knocks or something?
No, it was called Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom, yes. Gets invited on the show to tell his side of the story, which he thinks is gonna save him and let everyone know what really happened. But really, it's one of those sleaze shows that edits everything to make you look like the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
But the editing is so obvious because there's a clock in the background, and every time he talks, it cuts back. You can see the minute hand moving back.
Somebody had to take the babysitter home. Then I noticed she was sitting on her sweet can. I grabbed her sweet can. Oh, just thinking about her can. I just wish I had her sweet can.
And they make it sound like he's just a sexual deviant. And even one part makes it look like he's going to attack the guy, but it's just a pause scene. And it's like the old school, like, what is that even called when like the scene is like obviously corrupted in
like
in
static,
one frame? Yeah,
right. Glitch, static, whatever you want to call it.
You don't really see it nowadays, but back then it was really obvious.
Yeah.
And you just zoom in on, no, Mr. Simpson, no.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. And then finally, like Mo and a bunch of other friends show up and like, look.
How can you judge this man without talking to the people who know him best? We got the real dirt on Homer Simpson, and the bidding starts at 10 G's.
I did 10 G's.
10 5 G's.
They try to sell out his secrets to the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, like, the one person you didn't expect is Willie, the groundskeeper, shows up because he's been secretly taping people, but he happened to just tape that moment.
My hubby is secretly videotaping couples in cars. I didn't come forward because in this country, it makes you look like a pervert, but every single Scottish person does it!
To finally decriminate Homer.
He's Rowdy Roddy
Piper. And then he ends up on rock bottom as a pervert.
He's a foreigner who takes perverted videos of you when you least suspect it. He's Rowdy Roddy Peeper.
Oh, that man is sick!
Groundskeeper Willie saved you, Homer.
But listen to the music, he's evil!
Oh, that's such a great episode.
Yep. So that's your number 4?
That's my number 4.
Today on Ben, mothers and runaway daughters, reunited by their hatred of Homer Simpson. And here's your host, Gentle Ben.
I just have one thing to say. Let's have less Homer Simpsons and more money for public schools.
Nan, I have a question.
No, Ben, no!
My number 4, which I just had it with me. Okay, so this one is, well, we all have, every sitcom has like that one emotional episode that like
tries to make you cry.
That is so successful at it. Like Scrubs has the Brendan Fraser "Where Do You Think We Are" episode. You know,
Fresh Prince, the "Why Doesn't He Love Me?"
Oh yeah, Futurama has Jurassic Bark.
You know, oh god, don't remind me of that one. But you know, yeah, how come you don't want me, man? Like, you know, with Will's dad.
Yep.
And the improvised
of course, that's my number 4 for The Simpsons. It's Mother Simpson.
You just made a very big mistake. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison.
My asthma's gone. Listen to me breathe.
From that moment on, my life as I knew it was over.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the Fresh Prince one. I'm going off script.
Yeah. And like, even though like it's an emotional episode, there's so many funny moments in it.
Mhm.
Like when Grandpa like says,
FBI, the jig is up.
All right, I admit it. I am the Lindbergh baby. Wah, wah, goo goo. I missed my fly, da da.
Are you trying to stall us? Or are you just senile?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Was that the episode where Homer was on a quest to find out what the J in his name stood for?
No, that's a different one.
Oh,
That's that's actually, I think that's titled Homer J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Or no, something like something like
That's
that.
the one where they first introduced his mom as a character, right?
No, like this is
This
actually
was
the where
first.
where like she's introduced
Oh!
as like a full-fledged character anyway.
Yeah.
That like besides like in like
flashbacks or whatever.
flashback scenes. But the one you're thinking of was like when Homer meets those two hippies.
Yeah.
Like who were friends.
I
with
thought his
or
mom was one of the
whatever.
hippies. I just misremembered
No, in this
that.
one they explain that his mom was a hippie, and that
Yeah.
kind of ties into that episode later on.
And like, yeah, because the FBI like crashes in the house and like breaks into the house looking for like whoever, and then Grandpa says he's the Lindbergh baby, and then Burns shows up and he's like, I've been waiting 25 years for this moment, and he plays like the
Flight of the Valkyries?
The Flight of the Flight of the Valkyries, March of the Valkyries,
March
I
of the-
remember,
yeah.
with by Wagner, but
I
then
think
it
it's
goes
Flight.
into
Yeah, 'cause
it
you're-
goes
But I'm an idiot! And you're from Canada, so with the exchange, I'm still an idiot!
into like
I'm sorry, sir. I must have taped over that.
and then there's like a moment at the end where like
Don't forget me.
Don't worry, Homer. You'll always be a part of me.
like a great sports joke too that like probably people won't get at when it flashes back to like them in like 69 or 68
Nice.
and Mona is trying to like talk to Grandpa Simpson like about whatever, and he's just like,
Abe, isn't Homer cute?
Probably. I'm trying to watch the Super Bowl. If people don't support this thing, it might not make it.
yeah, 'cause it's like at the time the Super Bowl was so unpopular, like because they didn't like the AFL versus the NFL, but now it's like the biggest thing in the fucking world. And another great visual gag was when the FBI was like,
Yeah, I might have seen that. It's hard to tell from this old picture, you know?
Well, according to our computer aging program, she should look about 25 years older.
Yeah, I seen her. That is to say, I saw her.
they go to like the post office, and this is how
Yeah,
Mona
she gets caught.
This is how she gets discovered. Was it's there's so much undelivered mail, and it's like, this is what happens. You don't tip your letter carrier at Christmas. And then I can't remember, like Burns is there too, and he's like, I need this delivery for the Prussian auto gyro or something, like a whole bunch of old man references. And then he sees her and...
Wait a minute. I know that woman. But from when and in what capacity? It's her, at last.
There's a lot of funny parts in it, but like the emotion part in it, like you really discover so much about Homer's character in that episode. Like you think he's like this kind of dumb goofball and whatever, but like deep down it's just like a guy who just wants to see his mom again and thinks it was like his fault and whatever that she left, and really it's because she's a
wanted activist.
It was because she's a hippie that like set germ warfare back like 25 years. We're only now caught up.
Anthrax, gangrene, swimmers here! Get your germ lab out of here! Now!
How could I not become a radical when we were fighting a force of pure evil?
Hey, Mr. Burns, enough already with the germ!
And like the ending shot of it, where like she leaves and like he's just staring at the sky throughout the credits, is like, it's such a beautiful scene.
So beautiful.
It is, and
I love you, Peppy. I mean Pepsi.
Yeah,
different episode.
Same sky.
Like, because it usually just cuts straight to credits, but they just like show that throughout the whole scene. It's like, to me, it's like you got the comedy episodes, you got the social commentary episodes, and then you get like the ones that really heartfelt, and that's the big one to me. Some people like to say that it's the Mr. Bergstrom episode.
Oh,
from season
Lisa's
2. But
substitute teacher.
I find that one to be like just overrated a lot. But
well, that's just a big movie, like parody. So, not my cup of tea.
You know, and
saying it's a parody of the movie Big.
Yes,
big movie parody.
Yeah, but like, that's a really their most heartfelt episode, and like, it's one that you appreciate as you get older, sort of thing. And yeah, that's my number 4, pretty much. Is that an overlap?
Them grandpa over here.
Nope.
I don't think any of us went for heartfelt other than you.
Pretty much.
When going with the sitcom, we chose the funny ones.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stop depressing the people, Mike.
What are you now, Lisa? An Oakland Raiders fan? It's called Goth, Eternally Clueless One.
All right, so we're into the top 3, or do you got more?
Nope.
Okay.
Finally.
We're into the top 3. My number 3, this will save me a lot of breath, episode called Last Exit to Springfield.
Congratulations, Homer!
Hey, what did this job pay?
Nothing. Don't! Unless you're crooked.
Woohoo!
Mike already talked about it. I just want to touch on a couple key points that he missed. Not really key, but stuff I thought was funny. Mr. Burns' house tour, where they come across the 100 monkeys working on 100 typewriters that will one day write the great American novel.
This is 1,000 monkeys working at 1,000 typewriters. Soon, they'll have written the greatest novel known to man. Let's see. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. You stupid monkey.
And then he ends the tour in the basement.
This is my basement.
Gee, it's not as nice as the other rooms.
Yes, I really should stop ending the tour with it.
And then this was a fun little factoid I want to add. So in when they're doing the interview with Kent Brockman on the panel,
I forgot that one. Yep.
Yeah.
Tonight on Smartline, the power plant strike. Argle bargle or foofara? With us tonight are plant owner C.M. Burns, union kingpin Homer Simpson, and talk show mainstay Dr. Joyce Brothers.
I brought my own mic.
Yes. Well, Homer, organized labor has been called a lumbering dinosaur. My director is telling me not to talk to you anymore.
Do you know who that third panelist was originally offered to?
Who?
O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson was originally offered the third panelist role. He turned it down. Thankfully for them, in hindsight, because that could have been a disaster.
That night. He had a glove fitting to go to.
This was a couple years before all that shit happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was just a big football star.
He was out buying the glove that night.
Yeah. And then the only other note I have here that Mike surprisingly missed was to shake down Homer. Burns sent out for the whatever, like, it's basically old men hired goons from the war, and it's and it's Grandpa Simpson and his friend.
We can't bust heads like we used to, but we have our ways.
Oh, you got it.
One trick is to tell them stories that don't go anywhere. Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, I needed a new heel for my shoe. So I decided to go to Morganville, which is what they called Shelbyville in those days. So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel, and in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them. Give me 5 P's for a quarter, you'd say. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I want to add on Last Exit to Springfield. My number 3, I originally didn't think this would be that high when I made my top 10. I thought it would be kind of more so for the middle, but once I watched it, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is great. So yeah, it got itself bumped up to number 3.
My number 3, again, this will be nice and quick. Season 3, Episode 17, Homer at Bat.
Our new security guard, Roger Clemens.
Hello.
Our new janitor, Wade Boggs.
How you doing?
Our new lunchroom cashier, Ken Griffey Jr.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Our new, we'll make up jobs for these fellas later. Please say hello to Steve Sachs, Don Mattingly, Daryl Strawberry, Ozzie Smith, Mike Sosha, and Jose Canseco.
Cool.
Again, classic. We went through it already. All the same reasons. I had it a little higher just because it made me laugh more. Too many great moments to pass it up. It's a solid at number 3. That's all I got to say. Great episode.
So far, Homer at the Bat has 12 points.
Yes. Wait, more than that.
Because this is 3, which gives it 7.
I'm sure you have it on your list.
Oh, okay. So you're giving that. Yeah, I got it at 14 already.
Yeah, that's my number 3. Mike?
All right, so my number 3 is, we covered it already.
God damn it, so much for my break.
But I have different reasons somewhat different reasons for liking it, and that's Homer Badman.
What? That is the rarest gummy of them all. The gummy Venus de Milo, carved by gummy artisans who work exclusively in the medium of gummy.
Will you two stop saying gummy so much?
Nice.
So,
right, you did say that.
See, we're interchangeable. That's another one that we're off by
and this
one.
was when I mentioned.
Yeah, you guys are close on 3.
This was one where I mentioned a point I made earlier that nothing changes, because this one, like they say, this episode predicted the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this kind of crap's been going on forever.
Well,
we just didn't have the fucking internet.
Exactly, and people weren't willing to come out about it because they were scared for their careers or any other reasons.
But it's such a great fucking shot at media sensationalism and how it's basically they make Homer guilty before the entire story even comes out. And so one thing I did want to mention was Rock Bottom. That show is actually based off a real show called a real news air quote show called Hard Copy, which was almost exactly presented in the same way. Only
it was the same set with the chair and the ficus and the the clock,
and only the show was just a slight bit more subtle.
Now copy this, Charles Manson.
I'm the devil, you dirty dog, and I tricked you once again.
He's the helter-skelter murderer who is doing life. But Charlie has changed his tune, going from cult killer to folk hero.
I love his music. It's great. It's some of the best folk music I've ever heard.
And now he's looking for a whole new generation of followers with some high-tech help.
Charles Manson is more dangerous today because of the internet. He has the ability to reach people's minds through his music.
Find out who's making money off the marketing of Manson.
No, I'm just a human being. We're all just human beings.
Maybe so, but this man was once a woman, and he's not alone. Is someone you know someone you really don't know? Hard Copy goes inside the mind-blowing world of gender benders.
That scene on Rock Bottom is like one of the most well-written fucking moments in the entire show's history. And that is my number 3. The whole sweet can thing and everything, and
sweet can.
Such a great shot at media sensationalism that was, taking off, especially in that time when Fox News just was starting to happen, and like how they basically create an enemy before then, blah 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 blah. But yeah, that's my number 3, and that one's got 11 points now or something like that.
15, I think.
15, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
a lot of top contenders.
Yep.
All right, bring us into number 2, Donnie.
Number 2, I appreciate Mike going on more about that Homer Batman episode than I thought he would to give me a breather, because I gotta talk fresh again.
Oh, okay.
My number 2 episode is Grade School Confidential.
You have a breath mint I could borrow?
I've got some menthol cigarettes.
Oh, the heck with it.
Oh.
Grade School Confidential.
It's Skinner and Krabappel.
Boom! Nailed
All
it.
right, there we go.
This is Principal Skinner and Bart's teacher Edna Krabappel's forbidden love that isn't really forbidden, but they make it forbidden anyways.
And they never revisit it. It's like a one and done, right?
No, they do. They
a couple times, I guess?
Yeah, they're engaged at one point, and they end up calling it off.
Oh, and then from there they ignore it.
Edna ends up marrying Flanders, like, way in a later season. And then I think her voice actress died, so they just, like, wrote her off the show. And they just kind of implied her death with, like, I think
Marcia Wallace.
Yeah, I think they had, like, a gravestone or something at one point showing Edna Flanders or whatever. But yeah, no, they did kind of, they don't touch on it too much more, but yeah, they did have a relationship after this. Essentially, the plot is that Martin Prince is having a birthday party. He invites everyone, including the teacher and the principal. They show up and they're like, oh, this is lame. Like, let's go hide out somewhere. And they go hide out in a little house in the backyard where they have a moment and end up kissing after everyone has cleared out the party, except for Bart, because he's the only one that did not eat the oysters at the birthday party.
What kind of 9-year-old boy has a tea set? What was the line again? When they like go inside the little house and there's like the tea set there.
Oh, yeah. Edna says like, "What kind of little boy has a tea set?" And then Skinner says, "Mother never let me have one." But yeah, it's funny because when Martin's giving out his invite, Milhouse and Bart are in the backyard playing space with Homer.
Bart, this is boring. I guess we could go to Martin's party. I don't know. If we're seen there, it'll definitely take our social standing down a notch. We're at what now? 3? 3.5. We get beat up, but we get an explanation.
And then they go to the party, and literally every kid is there except the 3 bullies that I talked about earlier. Even Nelson's there, so it's like, how much of a social standing hit could it be?
So this is the part where you wanted to know Dolph's name?
Yeah, because literally it was like, I recognize every kid here except for, like, Dolph, Jimbo, and Kearney. Like, they're the only 3 that aren't there. But I really like Martin and Ralph have a lot of, like, signs stealing areas. Ralph cries a lot in this episode. I don't know why. I was like, I don't think Ralph ever cried. And then I watched like the Lisa Needs Braces episode where he cries at the earlier when he's like, why do you turn my office into a what did he say? House of Lies?
A House of Lies, yeah.
Yeah. So he cries and I was like, oh, I guess he does cry more than I thought. But of course, you get the classic after they're caught in the closet where you have a game of telephone where one kid comes home and says, "Oh, Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the janitor's closet kissing," and then the next one's like, well, I didn't see it, but I heard that they were naked and hugging or something like that." And then eventually it goes to Ralph, and he's like,
Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and the baby looked at me.
But my favorite line by far is when Bart is kind of put in the middle once Skinner and Krabappel find out that he knows. So they kind of put him in the middle and make him like do their running around for them, passing love notes. And at one point, Krabappel just wants her to send something to Skinner. So in the middle of a test, she says, "Bart, I told you to stop talking. Go to the principal's office." He's like, "I wasn't talking." He's like, "Go right now." And then he comes back with Principal Skinner. He's like,
Mrs. Krabappel, Bart has something he wants to say to you.
I won't say it.
Bart!
I love you, Edna Krabappel.
Bart loves a teacher, and then that's when they get caught, because Edna says, like, "Okay, you guys do this, I'm just gonna step out for a minute, Martin, you're in charge." And Martin turns around to Bart, and he says,
"No, Bart, you must promise not to fall in love with me."
Oh, now, Martin, gotten scorn off me. Oh, that is it. Listen up, everybody. Follow me.
Edna and Skinner are going out to the movies, and Principal Chalmers, oh my god, Superintendent Chalmers. Super Nintendo Chalmers shows up, and they're like,
Superintendent Chalmers.
Why, we're on a, what do you call, field trip.
With a student.
Yes, he's
purchasing refreshments in the lobby.
I'll go get him right now. Car keys.
and then Bart's tired in his pajamas. It's like, what's happening? I don't even know. And then freaking Chalmers keeps being like,
You think they actually filmed this in Atlanta?
I don't know. I don't think it's important.
But of course, we get the epic Homer line of,
Yeah, Krabappel. They were naked in the closet together. Oh, my goodness.
Wait a minute. Bart's teacher is named Krabappel? I've been calling her Crandall. Why didn't someone tell me? Oh, I've been making an idiot out of myself.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, Bart, this is your father.
That was my next one.
Gotcha.
Give me that. Bart, this is your father. Do you know where the remote is? I looked all over the house.
Did you check your pocket?
It was in my pocket.
And then, of course, we get some other great memorable moments of Skinner coming out with a hot dog vest.
I have a bomb.
Hey, wait a minute. Those are hot dogs. Armor hot dogs.
What kind of man wears armor hot dogs?
And Wiggum's the smart one that figures it out, so he knows his hot dogs. They do call him Chief Pig'em for a reason.
Yeah. And
then, of course, we get the...
I don't think we're talking about love here. We're talking about sex in front of the children.
Sex cauldron? I thought they closed that place down.
Which is another excellent quote. And then it comes out that Principal Skinner is a virgin.
Well, Seymour, it's clear you've been falsely accused. Because no one, anywhere, ever, would pretend to be a 44-year-old virgin.
Oh, that's for sure.
But what I'm confused about is because earlier, when they're having a date at Krabappel's house, and he was like...
this dessert is exquisite. What are you calling?
Applesauce.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry, I don't get out to restaurants much.
That's okay. I don't entertain much.
Your mother's an old lady, first off. Shouldn't she be like, applesauce be your main food group? Secondly, after that, they start making out, and there's a Charlie Brown candle on the table.
Seymour, swallow that applesauce and kiss me.
I'm afraid I already swallowed it while you were talking.
And it melted halfway down, so it's like, what were they doing during that time
Literally
if they didn't
just
have
kissing.
sex?
He's a virgin.
Yeah,
He thought that was the high point of it.
Yeah, it was like, okay, yeah, maybe. Also, shouts out Tom Berenger, who gets mentioned when they're at the movie theater, being like, what's this movie about? I don't know, but it has Tom Berenger. And Bart's like, who? Because Tom Berenger has done two things. Platoon, Major League. And it's Platoon's like 35th anniversary today.
That was like 15 years before Inception, so...
He barely in that.
Yeah.
People don't say, oh, Inception, that Tom Berenger movie. So that is Grade School Confidential, written by Rachel Polito at my number 2 pick.
So, just like my number 3, my number 2 will be very quick. I had season 5, episode 2, Cape Fear.
Yep.
You wrote me those letters.
You awful man. Stay away from my son.
Oh, I'll stay away from your son, all right. Stay away forever.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute. That's no good.
My Cape Fear was much higher up on the list.
Also number 2.
Nice.
God damn, you two are the same.
We've already discussed it. So is there anything else you wanted to add from previous?
Oh my god. Well, the only thing I want to say is that it's the only spoof since Airplane that's been funny. Besides Scary, like the first Scary Movie kind of.
That's not even
But it's
funny.
like, it's the best spoof overall in any medium of all time outside of Airplane and... No, Blazing Saddles isn't even a fucking spoof, but like, yeah, Besides Airplane.
What about Spaceballs?
I don't like Spaceballs.
I like it even more than Spaceballs.
Yeah, it's a great one, and we both saw it at number 2.
And it was so good that it made me not take a Martin Scorsese movie seriously.
When you finally watched it?
Because when I watched the movie Cape Fear, I'm just... Like when Robert De Niro gets out from under the fucking car, I'm just like, is he gonna step on a rake? Step on a rake.
I did the same thing because I watched that after this episode just because I wanted to see it. I'm like, oh my god, this is just funny to me because I'm waiting for the moment.
And it's funny because in the movie, in the fucking movie, like you know how like they hire a guy in the episode to like try to convince Sideshow Bob to leave town.
I can be very, very persuasive.
Come on, leave town.
No.
I'll be your friend.
No.
Oh, you're mean.
I forgot about that part.
It's funny because in the movie they actually get a hitman to like beat the shit out of Robert De Niro, and they don't succeed at it. And Robert
because he doesn't fight back, and he ends up suing him for assault.
No. They don't succeed because Robert De Niro fights back and like pretty much beats the shit out of them and kills them.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, wow, they would have been better if they just went to like,
didn't you win on a technicality for like a self-defense because they attacked first?
Something like that, yeah.
He got away with it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, they'd have been better off just to get a guy to be like, come on, leave town!
So one thing I waited on to mention until now was Kelsey Grammer as Sideshow Bob is like the greatest thing. He's like so perfect for that role.
Yep.
With his voice and his tone and his line delivery.
I don't think they've ever had a better like reoccurring
celebrity
character.
voice, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, except for when they brought in the Cecil episode where they literally got
Niles
from Seinfeld to play Sideshow Bob's brother.
But that's not really a recurring. That's just kind of like
I'm just talking about like another character that's perfect for the role, and the way that they tied him in as brothers is hilarious.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah, and it's such a brilliant parody of the movie, and like even though the movie is good on its own, I can never take it seriously. Just
because
it's almost like we didn't mention this, but like The Shining.
You mean Shining?
Shh! You want to get sued?
Yeah.
Like The Shining is very low on my Kubrick list because I can't really be that scared of it because of The Shining. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to add, was that it's just a brilliant spoof of the movie. But yeah.
All right, finally down to the top ones.
And now
the main event.
You know, we could just add that in post.
Yeah.
Okay. And now
we're gonna leave that in though.
My number one try-back surprise, Homer at Brat.
At Brat? I am surprised.
At the bat.
I don't understand a word he's saying. Why didn't he just let me bat? I wish I was home with a big bag of potato chips. Potato chips.
Got that, Simpson?
Yes, sir.
I tried to combine two words into one.
Well, anything...
Mike, you didn't mention the softball rules. I just want to touch on.
We know how to play softball.
Okay, let's go over the ground rules. You can't leave first until you chug a beer. Any man scoring has to chug a beer. You have to chug a beer at the top of all odd-numbered innings. Oh, and the fourth inning is the beer inning.
Hey, we know how to play softball.
Yeah, about chugging a beer.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to shout out Steve Sachs for being considered a good player in a medium.
Yeah.
He had like two or I think he had like one good year. And
that was probably the year it happened.
Yeah, I think it was like well, depending on when they wrote it, right? It was probably around the year they wrote it because animation takes so long to do, right? But he was good one year, and then he was like not very good, and then the episode came out that year. He wasn't the first choice. They tried to get Ryan Sandberg, who was a good player. He said no. So
shout out.
Yeah, so they got Steve Sachs. I just wanted to mention that. And also, because Eric mentioned the random Donkey Kong cutaway in the one, in this one, there's the random peanut guy just like hucking peanuts everywhere without people paying for them.
Oh my god!
Who wants peanuts? We got peanuts. Hey, whoa! Oh, peanuts, taste good. Hey, peanuts, we got peanuts. Need some peanuts? Hands up.
And no one's paying for them. I don't know if it was a peanut giveaway. I've seen some entertaining peanut vendors in my days at baseball games. games, but none of them just like throw peanuts randomly without people paying.
Yeah.
Must have been his last day. He was getting fired. He didn't care.
Yeah, but I think other than that, I like how even though the episode was only like 23 minutes or whatever the length is, they gave each of the many guest stars their own personality, except Strawberry. He just kind of is like the everyman. And this was Sam Simon's favorite episode, who was another showrunner at one point.
Mm-hmm. Where did that make it on that magazine list?
I didn't specifically rank this one. I only ranked basically the top like 5 if they showed up on my list. I mentioned it.
Oh.
So, yeah. I'm sure it was on there, but...
It's on there somewhere,
yeah,
I know that.
Yeah. Homer at the Bat, my number 1. Eric, take it away.
By the way, the reason it's not as surprising is because Donnie is a giant baseball nerd. But anyway,
so that's why you had that, and I had Homer They Fall, because I had to have a boxing episode in there.
Yeah, but I have no chill. I will show my biases.
And I still had baseball put ahead of boxing by 2 episodes. So.
Yep, there you go.
And now, Eric's number 1 is...
I am surprised no one had this on their list. It must be another one that you guys just forgot about it.
Or it's Mike's number 1 as well. You guys have been matching up a lot.
This was my favorite episode as a kid, and it was my first one that I rewatched when we decided to make this list, because I was hoping to God it was still as good, and thankfully it is. Season 6, Episode 4, Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Mom! Dad! Bart's dead! That's right, dead serious about going to Itchy and Scratchy Land.
You know, Itchy and Scratchy Land isn't just for kids. They have a place called Parents Island.
That was one of my honorable mentions.
You know what that's a parody of?
Jurassic Park and Disney World.
No, not... Well, kinda, but also it's a parody of Westworld.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't Westworld come out after? Or was it a book or something?
It was a movie from 1973.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Where like a bunch of robots from a theme park go nuts. And it was written by the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
So because they literally had they had to fly there. It's an island. They had to fly there. The helicopter symbol was like Scratchy's head, but in the Jurassic Park logo.
Yep.
That episode, just like the ones you said before, this one was non-stop, joke after joke after joke. Like it didn't stop. Like you don't have a moment to breathe because you're just laughing the whole episode through. It's so fantastic. Like it opens up. They don't even get to the park until like 10 minutes into the episode, and it's still funny when they're just Bart and Lisa are begging them to get the tickets because Krusty's making because they're doing an episode on it, and they're like, hey, they finally reopened the park.
That's the one. I'm sure you have it written down, but it has the classic Bort license plate.
Yeah, of course. You think I'm gonna ignore that? Oh my god, one of my favorite moments of that episode is at the beginning when they're just trying to get there, and like the trip there, they're going through all the states, and they're doing the 5-state corner where they're all holding hands in 5 states.
Oh, haven't we stood in 5 different states long enough?
No.
Like they're doing the classic family trip thing because they have to drive there, and Homer decides like, nuts to this, I'm taking a shortcut.
Trust me, Marge. With today's modern cars, you can't get lost. What with all the silicon chips and such.
And then they take the helicopter going over to the island, and of course...
We're now approaching our final destination, Itchy and Scratchy Land, the amusement park of the future where nothing can possibly go wrong. Possibly go wrong. Huh. That's the first thing that's ever gone wrong.
Yeah.
And then they park... Oh, yeah, even before they get in the helicopter and they get to the parking lot, they're like, all right, remember, kids.
We're in the Itchy lot.
So even if you know what lot you're in, you're not going to find your car. Yeah. So fantastic.
Wasn't there like a cutaway joke where like it cuts to Itchy and Scratchy Land Euro?
That's at the very end.
Okay, yeah.
So they get to the island and they're like lining up, buying their tickets, and then the woman, this doesn't really, like, this is another one of those things where it's like it's aged really well, but this has a whole new meaning. Every time I see this sign or this scene, all I can think about is cryptocurrency. When the woman's like,
would you like to buy some Itchy and Scratchy money?
What's that?
Well, it's money that's made just for the park. It works just like regular money, but it's, fun.
Do it, Dad.
Well, okay, if it's fun. Let's see, I'll take $1,100 worth.
oh, man. Real money only, and I'm thinking that's just cryptocurrency. People are looking into buying it, but no one will accept it.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that's so good. It makes me laugh every time. And then they're finally in the park and they're going to all these dangerous places and going on like that log ride that starts off sweet at the top. Then Homer and Marge's like, all right, this is this. We're going to Parents Island.
Yeah.
You kids go on your own. And then they go to a TGI McScratchies, which I don't know what that's a parody of.
TGI Fridays, maybe?
But the theme of it is that it's New Year's Eve all the time. And like every hour on the hour, they celebrate New Year's Eve. And Marge and Homer, when they walk in, they're like, oh my god, it's like 70s disco style.
Hey, the bartender even looks like John Travolta.
Yeah. Looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that makes me laugh all the time.
Or it's like, wow, this must be great to celebrate the feeling of New Year. I wish
Every
I was
time.
dead.
Yeah. Because I love that the suicidal employees, because they call back to it. It's not just a one-off joke. Because then as Bart and Lisa have their own adventure and they're like at the park watching like a documentary film on, what's his name? Something Meyer the Third.
Roger Meyer.
Roger Meyer the Senior, who's like the Walt Disney.
Yeah.
And they're watching the show.
I promise I will never hurt you.
Ouch! I wonder if this kind of violence really does desensitize us.
Want to get a snow cone?
Okay.
And as they're going through their things, Bart just keeps, anytime he sees Itchy in his, or a guy in an Itchy suit, he always has to torture him by either kicking him in the ass or shooting a stink bomb into his mask.
Yeah.
I just want to entertain.
Can you believe I keep getting away with this? Officer?
And then he finally gets caught and gets taken away.
Yeah.
And then Marge has to hear about it over the intercom. They're like,
Attention, Marge Simpson. Your son has been arrested.
I'd be terribly embarrassed if I were that boy's mother.
Attention, Marge Simpson. We've also arrested your older, balder, fatter son.
And then when they take her through the tunnels, like the best part. Because as they're, they went to the gift shop first, and that's where they did the Bort license plate, where Bart's looking for the personalized license plate, and it's got all these names, but it doesn't have Bart.
Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate.
No, come along, Bort.
Are you talking to me?
No, my son is also named Bort.
Because then when they're taking Marge to like this, I don't know what they're referencing there, but it's like an Austin Powers corridor of like evil lair with like guys in weird suits. And as they're driving through like the little area where there's like guys monitoring everything, and then they're doing callbacks.
I think it's like callbacks to Westworld. I'd have to watch the movie again, but like
So the first guy's like,
Mop and Bucket Man to the exit of the Nauseator.
We have another jumper on the roof of TGI McScratchies.
We need more Bort license plates in the gift shop. I repeat, we are sold out of Bort license plates.
and I never caught that before until rewatching, but like they called back to the suicide joke.
Yeah.
And then the next was like, we're all out of Bort license plates at the gift shop.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
And then when they go to pick up Homer and Bart, and she's like,
I'm so embarrassed. I wish there was a hole I could just crawl into and die.
Okay, throw in the hole.
Oh, please, it was just a figure of speech.
and it always makes me laugh that they literally have a hole there for people to just crawl into and die. Oh my god. And then finally when they get out and it's like the robots start going crazy because they had like built-in sensors to protect the guests from being attacked, and they're only allowed to attack each other, but I don't remember what caused them to malfunction.
Dad, I think you're wrong about that robot trying to be your friend.
Lisa, don't contradict your elders. Ah, my hair! You chopped off my hair! Oh, God, I'm ugly!
I know we should have gone to the bird sanctuary.
I need the biggest seed bell you have. No, that's too big.
But they start attacking everyone, and everyone decides to leave and escape.
A chopper! We're saved!
Hey, you're the guys who didn't like our capering. When you get to hell, tell them Itchy sent you.
You leave them there to die.
Yep.
And then Homer yells at the army of robots, says, "No one ruins this family vacation but me and maybe the boy." And then he starts throwing random stuff at him, like pocket change, and like finally throws his camera, or he rips his underwear out to throw, and then he throws the camera, hits the ground, and flashes them and destroys the robots.
Yeah.
Dad, the Flash must have scrambled their circuit.
What are you, the narrator?
And then Bart's like, I'll get him. Takes a hammer, smashes a window, takes a bunch of cameras.
Smashy, smashy.
I don't approve of that.
Yeah.
Then you just start going out taking pictures, flashing the robots.
It's
and
so
breaking
funny
them.
how like Marge like puts on her mom hat, like you know you have robots coming.
You have
after
bigger
you, trying to
problems
kill
here.
you. Yeah.
She never takes it off.
Yeah.
And then he finally saves the day, and he says,
"Hey,
rat, say cheese."
With that kind of
witty humor.
I could be an action hero.
And then Homer tries to do it, and then he gets cut off right
Yeah.
after. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then that's the part where Frank comes out, and he's like, oh, thank God you saved us. Like, oh, I hope we don't have this problem in Euro Itchy and Scratchy Land. And it cuts to it, and the parking lot's empty. There's no one there.
Hello? Itchy and Scratchy Land open for business? Who are you to resist it, huh? Come on, my last paycheck bounced. My children need wine.
And it just ends.
Yeah.
I can't really explain it, but that just every joke back to back in that episode kills me from start to finish.
Brilliant parody of well, obviously Jurassic Park, little bit of Terminator in there too.
Some Disney, it's got a little bit of everything.
And Westworld, like,
and like, what was that again? That was
They'll teach
season
us
6.
paper
Yeah, so that's deep in, like deep past like the watershed episode, like I said, like a few seasons in, and like that has always been my favorite, and it still holds up.
Nice. All right,
Mike?
we got into my favorite. All right, so on to the fucking running theme that I kind of brought up about episodes that get way better as you get older. My number one is from season 8, written by, once again, John Swartzwelder. Season 8, hold on, let me find the episode number.
19.
Season 8, episode 23, one of the last episodes of the season. Homer's Enemy.
Hi, grimy old buddy.
I'm not your buddy, Simpson. I don't like you. In fact, I hate you. Stay the hell away from me. Because from now on, we're enemies.
Okay. Do I have to do anything?
Oh.
AKA the Frank Grimes episode. So, yeah. That one, to me, I liked it when I was a kid, too. Like, it was a fucking funny-ass episode. But as you get older, it just, you appreciate it so much more. Like, you hate Frank Grimes when you're a kid, but you kind of understand where he's coming from when
You're an adult and you've worked with idiots.
And you've worked with idiots, yeah. And
who get promoted above you.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it. But anyways, so it's like, there was a video actually on this on YouTube made by Emp Lemon, who you should all watch, and he breaks it down very, very well.
You can find it at lemonparty.org.
Pretty much. And, yeah.
Link in the description.
And it is such a dark, mean-spirited episode at the same time. Because, like, it's like that one Scrubs episode where Courtney Cox becomes, like, the head of the hospital. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if, like, a real-world hospital administrator joined, like, the TV world of that show where everything's just fucking insane. And it's almost like this is pretty much, well, no, that is pretty much this, where, like, it's almost like a real, normal, real-life person joining the crazy world of the Simpsons. And
on that, I never looked into it. Was he voiced by a celebrity?
No, he was supposed, I can't remember who was supposed to voice him. Was
it just Hank Azaria?
I'm gonna look through it actually right now. The voice actor was actually supposed to be William H. Macy, maybe.
Huh. I can see that.
Hold on, let me take a look.
Many hours later.
they actually considered Nick Cage, of all people, and it was based on Michael Douglas's character in Falling Down. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but it's like basically a midlife crisis movie, and like obviously based on William H. Macy, but and it shows, it actually has a really good lesson in it. The reason why Homer is like so gets along, like is so well off in life, is because he gets along with people, like despite him being kind of an idiot. Like that's kind of like, it's a real thing, especially in my career, where like it's basically
it's a popularity contest.
You have to like essentially suck everyone's dick to get ahead.
To get head.
Yeah, basically.
I made a funny.
Or like, you know, it's how well you network. It's not really based on work ethic, which is what Frank Grimes kind of like puts ahead of everything else. And there are despite like how dark it can get, it has a lot of comedic moments. Like the B plot is probably one of the best B plots in any fucking TV episode ever, and that's the one where Bart owns a factory.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot that was the same episode.
I can remember, like, Bart just,
he wins it at an auction on a joke because no one wants to buy it.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's buying.
A buck! I have a buck. I have $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, do I have two? $1, sold for a buck.
And he's like, cool, he's like, cool, what'd I buy?
35 Industry Way.
Looks like my years of hard work have finally paid off.
And it's like literally a factory, and then he hires Milhouse as a fucking security
You don't
guard.
own a factory?
Hey, Milhouse! You want a job in my factory? You don't have a factory. Hey, I'm a busy man. You want a job or not? Okay.
And like...
You're pretty good Milhouse.
And... it's such a funny, because this was after like Milhouse's parents got divorced too, like in the timeline of the show.
That was an honorable mention on mine.
So, and you know, he becomes like the security guard at this fucking this fucking abandoned factory, and he's like,
So this is my life. At least I've done better than Dad.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, what a shot at his dad.
Yeah.
Poor Kurt.
And it is... There's some other fucking funny gags, too, where, like, at the end, like... this kind of thing would make sense in any other Simpsons episode. It would be totally funny, but because of Frank Grimes' presence... it's like it gets really dark really fast, and this is when he sets up like that children's contest to build the proper power plant.
Yeah.
And normally it would make sense for Homer to like win it, but like in this it's like he's calling out, no, this is fucking insane, this would never happen, blah, blah, blah. And he just kind of goes crazy, because and it's so funny because like literally every other power plant that's except for Ralph's.
Our first little genius is Ralph Wiggum. It's pretty good, sir.
Hot tub? Media room? It's supposed to be a power plant, not Aunt Beulah's bordello. Thank you, get out. Next.
Is well done. Like
Martin's is an actual
Martin's, like it's an actual...
The power plant of the future today!
Ugh, too cold and sterile. Where's the heart?
But it really generates power. It's lighting this room right now.
And it's... I guess I relate to it because of the industry I work in. And then, of course, it's like, you know, get off the stage, Ralphie. He just stands there after... And the one Homer builds is basically...
I just copied the plant we have now. Then I added some fins to lower wind resistance. And this racing stripe here I feel is pretty sharp.
Agreed. First prize.
And it, like, I fucking relate to it so much. Like, because doing gig work and working under directors, it's basically like you really want to add your own creativity, but you just give them what they fucking want, and they fucking love you. Like, because you know, I even when I was talking with Urinating Tree about possibly working for his channel, he's like, you know, what would you think you had? And I'm like, I would basically just do what Homer Simpson does in that Frank Grimes episode of The Simpsons. Just add, like, maybe my own little racing stripe to the power plant that is your channel, sort of thing. You really appreciate it more as an adult, obviously. I love the part where he invites Frank Grimes over to his house for dinner, and it just... because he's trying to win Frank Grimes over as like a friend and everything, but it just makes
him more jealous.
It makes him hate Homer even more because he's like,
here's a picture of me in outer space.
You went into outer space. You.
Sure. You've never been? Would you like to see my Grammy Award?
No, I wouldn't.
And like he's just like, and Frank Grimes is just losing his shit, and he's just like...
a dream house, 2 cars, a beautiful wife, a son who owns a factory, fancy clothes, and lobsters for dinner. And do you deserve any of it? No!
What are you saying?
I'm saying you're what's wrong with America.
Like, he just freaks out in front of his whole family in his own house, and like Homer's just like trying to fucking win him over, and like it just
you live in this
work.
palace.
How in the world can you afford to live in a house like this, Simpson?
I don't know. Don't ask me how the economy works.
Yeah, but look at the size of this place. I live in a single room above a bowling alley and below another bowling alley.
Wow.
Yes, you would relate to that. You lived under a bowling alley once.
Yes.
Basically.
More of a white trash petting zoo, but yeah.
Basically. Holy shit. Like, it's... and that's another thing, you don't get that joke when you're younger, unless you've lived in an apartment.
A shitty apartment.
Yeah.
Specifically.
And I didn't. And it's so funny. Oh my god. Like, the beginning of the episode, it's... fucking hilarious how Frank Grimes gets introduced to the world. He's like, he's brought in
it's
as
like
one
a documentary.
That's the kind of man I need on my team, Smithers. A real scrapper. A self-made man like me. Bring this Grimes fellow to me. I want to make him my executive vice president.
And then the next day, Kent's People is literally like an inspirational dog.
Find this dog. I want to make him my executive vice president.
Yes, sir. In the meantime, here's Frank Grimes. The self-made man?
What? Oh, yes, that fellow. Just put him somewhere out of the way and find that dog.
Yeah. How well has my Mr. Burns held up over the past, 10 years? Because I know I did a good impression
of it. It's good.
Yeah. I know I do a very good impression of Mr. Burns. And,
we'll let the fans decide.
But... it's so funny, but it can be so dark at the same time, and the way it ends is so fucking mean-spirited towards Frank Grimes. Like, he gets shit on so hard at the end. Like, he basically has his mental breakdown and starts mocking Homer Simpson anytime he can.
I can be lazy too! Look at me! I'm a worthless employee, just like Homer Simpson! Give me a promotion!
What else did he do? Yeah, I'm going to the bathroom without washing my hands.
I'm peeing on the seat! Give me a raise! Now I'm returning to work without washing my hands. But it doesn't matter because I'm Homer Simpson!
And then he looks at this extremely high voltage.
What's this? Extremely high voltage. Well, I don't need safety gloves because I'm Homer Simpson.
And just dies. And
cuts right to the funeral.
And it's so fucking savage and mean-spirited towards him, but then the attention is turned to Homer.
I'm sure he's looking down from him right now.
Change the channel, Marge.
That's our Homer.
And they ignore Grimes's grave, his coffin being lowered. And it's even in death, like Homer is still like stealing the spotlight from him. It's so fucking brutal. And I noticed this. Okay, this is in a later episode. It's the episode where Maude dies, actually.
Oh yeah.
And I can show it to you guys on YouTube after this, but like, it's there's a scene of Maude's funeral, and they have they cut to like how the scene starts. It starts on a shot of Marvin Monroe's grave, and it's like a therapist's couch and everything, and like something to remember him by. And then it goes to Bleeding Gums Murphy, and it's like his saxophone. And then it cuts to Frank Grimes' grave, and it's like slanted and cracked.
Yeah.
And like it's falling apart and dilapidated. And like it's like, oh wow, even in death, he's still getting shit on.
Well, I mean, I think that just goes to show that Frank Grimes, worked himself to death and didn't develop relationships with people. And that's one of the things he hated about Homer, was that he had the success partly because he developed these relationships with people and was well liked.
Yep.
So you're in favor of favoritism, you asshole.
Absolutely. That's why I'm the favorite of them boys.
Yeah, and wow, that says something about me, because like I've always valued my work ethic above anything else, so I kind of personally like related to it, and wasn't still am not the most sociable guy ever. Although, like, some people in my metal Discord might disagree. But, so that's why, like, even, like, when I was younger, I obviously, you love The Simpsons and everything, so you're going to root for Homer. But, like, when you're older, you kind of understand where Frank Grimes is coming from, because, like, you just kind of get fucked over by, like,
nepotism, usually.
Yeah, usually. Oh, fucking, don't tell me about that. Like, and working in just, like, the places I've worked, and, it's something, now I'm a lot, like, more personable than I was back then, and I kind of understand. It's like, you shouldn't be a fucking asshole to people. So, like, yeah, it's something I related to quite a bit, still do a lot, and to me, the episode's a masterpiece. I know it's on that
EW list.
That EW list somewhere.
Maybe it's number 2. Who knows?
And like Matt Groening, I think it's one of his favorite episodes too. His favorite episode is actually the Springfield Gorge one, but I think Homer's Enemy was like his number 2 or something like that. So yeah, it's my favorite episode. It wasn't a long time ago. Cape Fear was. I had to make that switch.
It's not like you bumped it a lot.
Yeah.
It just took a back seat.
And so, yeah, and to me, it's like, that was also a watershed episode where, like, everything afterwards, like, season 9 and season 10 are still fucking fantastic. Season 13 is still great, but it's like, it went from, like, great to, like, okay, this is where it peaked, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not watershed, that's jumping the shark.
Yeah. Jump in the Shark, I wouldn't call it that, because it's still a great episode, right? So it's like, I don't know what it would.
I do think season 8 was probably the best season.
Yeah.
I had a couple. Season 4 and season 8 seemed to be the 2 that I had the most of when I went through.
So for me, out of my 10 choices, 3 of them are season 6, 2 for season 5, 2 for season 7, 2 for 8. 1 for 3, which is Homer at Bat.
Yeah.
So you can tell I didn't really care much for the earlier seasons except for Homer at Bat, but it wasn't until like season 6 where I had a lot of my choices.
And I think one of the episodes, I think it might have even been the Cape Fear episode. That was supposed to be from the previous season, but it got pushed for broadcasting reasons. Like Fox can't stop the season like 2 episodes early. Is Cape Fear episode 2 of the season?
Yep.
Yeah, so it was that one. Because it was Homer's Barbershop Quartet and Cape Fear were supposed to be the finale of the previous season.
Oh, and they pushed it.
Yeah, they ended up pushing
that
it.
actually did happen, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of my, if we want to go through honorable mentions, but we've been doing this for 3 hours. But
we'll quickly go through our tallied points of what actually will be our top 10 for Dem Boys.
Yep, and then we can touch on some honorable mentions. I did want to, since you're on Homer's Enemy, I did have that as an honorable mention. It basically came down to, for me, Homer's Enemy and Hurricane Nettie were very similar stories. Ned's the more, popular character, and that episode happened first. They were both in the same season, though.
Yeah.
So I gave the nod to Ned. Yeah. All right, so going through the point tally. So the DEM Boys top 10 is, at number 10, Mother Simpson with 7 points. At number 9, Mr. Plow, also with 7 points. Eric was a tiebreaker because those were both our episodes. He chose Mr. Plow as the better between the two. Number 8, Grade School Confidential with 9 points. 7, Itchy and Scratchy Land with 10 points.
I'll take it.
6, Homer's Enemy with 10 points. 5, Homie the Clown with 10 points. I was tiebreaker because I didn't have any of those. I gave Homie the Clown the top spot because you guys both had it on there, so I figured that's better than 2 middling grades is better than just one person's high grade. And then I just liked Homer's Enemy better than Itchy and Scratchy Land. Number 4 is Lost Exits to Springfield with 12 points. Number 3, Homer Badman with 15 points. Number 1 and 2 were actually tied.
Ooh.
So number 2, I put Homer at the Bat because you both had it ranked higher, or had Cape Fear ranked higher, which is the number 1. They each had 24 points, though.
Oh.
So Cape Fear and Homer at the Bat were the only 2 episodes that appeared on all of our lists, and on all lists they were no lower than 5. As you had Homer at the Bat 5, I had Cape Fear 5. So those are Runaway, the 2 favorites. The other ones that showed up on multiple lists, King Size Homer had 6 points, so just missed.
They were too high on the list. It wasn't going to get the good double points.
Yeah, we both had them at spot 8.
Oh.
Yeah, it was 8.
Oh, right. It's because I'm looking at season 7 and episode 7.
Yeah,
so I got
and
7 on the brain.
Deep Space Homer, which was 8th on your list, Eric.
No,
or
9.
9th on your list, 8th on Mike's. So good for 5 points. Also just missing it. So yeah, that's the DEM Boys. I guess I don't really have too many honorable mentions. I didn't make a specific list. I will give some love to the later seasons. Because I did have 2 later season episodes. Both of them are Bart-centric movie spoofs. One of them Mike mentioned earlier when he was guessing randomly.
The Departed.
The Departed, which is a Departed spoof. That was season 19, I think.
Holy shit.
And then there was a Boyhood spoof called Barthood, which was like season 26 or something like that. It was way later. Enjoy both those episodes. The Departed a little more, probably because the main character, the snitch in the series, is named Donnie. And you get the epic line of, who am I going to trust, this kid I just met or my lifelong friend, Milhouse, for the last 9 years? So, Donnie, hold Milhouse's legs, he's a snitch! But eventually I was just like, I'm really just keeping these on because they're later season episodes and I want to give them some love. I didn't have anything higher than season 8 on my final list. Anyways, Eric, honorable mentions. Break us down your bracket.
Yes, so all my honorable mentions are from the losers bracket that decided number 10, which was Radioactive Man.
Nice.
So my other options were Homer versus New York City.
That was the one of mine too.
Homer Palooza, where he joins the freak show with the cannon.
Oh yeah, okay.
Bart versus Australia.
That was on my short list.
Camp Krusty.
That was not on my short list. It should have been though.
Selma's Choice, another theme park
That's a good
episode.
one.
King of the Hill, where Homer climbs the murder horn, and the Power Sauce episode.
Oh,
with
okay.
Rainier.
Yeah.
And finally, Lisa's Rival.
That's a good one.
The Jessica one, right?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, those are all the ones that I was like, I gotta pick one, and I just did my bracket, and Radioactive Man won. It was between that, the finals is that, and Bart versus Australia.
Yeah.
Lisa's Rivals is almost like Lisa's version of the Frank Grimes episode.
Yeah, literally.
Like it's all like she's so jealous of this person who's just like outdoing her and everything.
It's another relatable one.
Yeah. So my honorable mentions were from. So 1, Flaming Moe's.
Yeah, that was one of the last ones eliminated on mine too.
I almost put that in my top 10. I was like,
yeah, it was very close.
Because
it was probably in like the 13, 14 area on mine.
And it's almost kind of based off Ray Kroc, but the guy who ripped off McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Made or you can say it was based on Bob Kane, who ripped off Bill Finger. But anyways. Next one was Krusty Gets Cancelled, the Gabbo episode, where and
They leave the camera rolling.
He gets like, what the hell was that? Like he shows that Russian shit, Scratchy or whatever.
And the whole crowd's gone.
Yeah, and like the end of it, it's like he just gets all these celebrities.
Sting,
Bette Midler. No, not.
No, I'm thinking of Wishing the Well when Bart falls down the well. That's when they had Sting.
That was good.
Bette Midler. You get Sideshow Luke Perry. Luke Perry gets fired out of a cannon or something like that. And then, he lands in a pillow factory and gets blown up and everything.
They demolish it as soon as he lands.
And they got Johnny Carson, too. This was after he left the Late Show. No, Tonight Show. Yeah. There we go, yeah. My next honorable mention was Rosebud.
Ugh.
A.K.A. Bobo.
Yes. It's a Kane episode.
Yeah. Hey, that's the one with the Ramones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Happy birthday.
Because it's his birthday.
Yeah. The Boy Who Knew Too Much. That is the one where...
The French server...
Chowder! It's Chowder!
That was close. That was one of my top runnings that I almost put in my bracket.
Where, like, Skinner basically becomes a fucking
Terminator, yeah.
Yeah, and, like...
He's like some kind of not giving up school guy.
Yeah. And then in the courthouse, he's just like, Bart, if I find out you cut class, your ass is mine. Yes, I think words I never say.
And then Homer, boy, I know you can hear my thoughts. Meow, 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 meow.
And then, and then he wears those glasses that make him look like he's awake, but he's sleeping.
Yeah. Steals all the lamps from the fucking hotel at the end. They have all the hotel shit in their room.
My next one is Sideshow Bob Roberts, the one where he becomes mayor.
Yeah.
Like, that one's, well, again, nothing changes, but it's like one of my favorite quotes, no child has ever meddled with the Republican Party.
And lived to tell
about it.
Yeah.
And then that's where they build the Matlock Expressway.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we need
How
to
you get
build
old
like
people
a
votes.
We want an expressway. We want Matlock. So they build the fucking highway. Next one is Round Springfield.
You don't even remember what it is.
Well, I'll go to the next one.
Oh no, that's the one where Bleeding Gums Murphy dies. That's another emotional one.
So you're just picking death episodes?
Yeah.
Trying to sound deeper than you are?
Probably.
I literally rolled my eyes when you were like, oh, it's when he dies. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another one. Who Shot Mr. Burns? Both episodes.
It was fun for like at the time to be like, ooh, who done it? Yeah. And then once you find out, it's like, oh, payoff wasn't worth it for me. I don't care to go back to it.
You know what I found after rewatching a lot? Like, when we decided to do this list, I immediately went back to all my favorite episodes that were in my mind from childhood that like, oh, this was hilarious. This is definitely going to make it. I realized a lot of them weren't funny. Or I remembered parts of it, like individual parts that were really funny, and it made me think the whole episode was funny.
Yeah.
Like an example of that is the Hank Scorpio one.
Mm-hmm.
After rewatching that, I realized the only scenes that were funny were his. Mm-hmm. Anything about the B plot about Bart being in remedial class, Lisa being allergic to everything, and Marge being bored at home, nothing was funny except for Hank's moments.
Yeah. And he's only in it for a small portion of it.
Yeah.
So my next one was Bart Sells His Soul.
Yeah, that was on my short list.
Next one was the Pulp Fiction episode, 22 short films about Springfield.
Oh, yeah.
With the steamed hams. And,
isn't that the one with 123 Fake Street as well? Or is that a different one?
I can't remember.
That was one of those, like, one that jumps around.
Where they literally talk about, like, the differences, like, between Krusty Burger and fucking McDonald's, and
they call it a shake.
They end it with like the tall guy and the beetle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah, and he keeps getting up.
And he pulls Nelson's pants down. And he's like, blow them kisses. And but obviously the steamed ham one, the steamed hams part is like the best part. Homer Palooza, that's another one.
Nice.
A Millhouse Divided.
Yeah, we talked about that one.
That's when his parents get divorced?
Yeah.
Yep, and then the Springfield Files, I had that in the honorable mentions. And then my last one is the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie show.
Oh,
yeah,
I must return to my home planet.
That one was a popular one. I didn't love it, but the other one, I'm shocked because it's on everyone's like best of. Because again, once I made my list, I was like, let's see how this stacks up. Marge versus the Monorail is universally loved.
That was one of those things where I remember liking it as a kid, and upon rewatching, I'm like, it's not that funny.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, it's fine, but it's not that I love it. I mean, apparently it was one of only like 3 episodes Conan O'Brien wrote.
Yeah, it was. So it was one of the first ones that he pitched when he applied for the job. He pitched that, and then 2 other episodes, and that's what got him the job. But again, upon rewatching, I didn't.
But yeah, that was like that was
another Leonard Nimoy cameo.
Yeah, there's some good parts, but yeah, it was just like it was like always high on the list. Like it was top 3, lots of number 1 spots.
Like according to this, it wouldn't even be my top 20.
Yeah.
Homer, I got a guy who can help us. Batman? No, he's a scientist. Batman's a scientist.
It's not Batman.
I call the big one Bitey.
Yeah, that was one. That and Homer's Enemy were the ones that kind of popped up everywhere. That I was just like, oh, this is on my list. I wonder if people are gonna shame me for it, but. Yeah, Mike had Homer's Enemy at number 1, so it still made the final list.
Yeah.
But no love for Marge versus the Monorail on Dem Boy. Sorry.
And another close one that I almost had in was the one, I forget what it's called, but the one where Marge becomes a cop.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what's
But then I remembered that most of the funny scenes was her, like, at the police academy, and aside from that, it wasn't that funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it didn't have that.
I think that was called the Springfield Connection.
Yes, you're right. It is. Because I did have it on my original list, and then I changed it.
And also, the Mr. Bergstrom episode is overrated as fuck. Stop talking about it. Anyways.
So's Homer's mom. Who said that?
And
it still made the top 10. Be happy.
So, you filthy smut gremlins, that's our top 10. Let us know in the comments which top 10 list that you think is more aligned with your personal tastes.
Or your own top 10s.
Yeah, put your top 10s in the comments and we'll gladly ignore them.
Or roast your choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're ready for your Marge versus the Monorail at number 1.
And rant about how much of a downer Mike is. But anyways, keep watching us.
Keep on trucking.
Fucking smut gremlin.
Hey, did you ever look up who did Frank Grimes' voice?
Hank Azaria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Figures.
Yep.
And on that note...
See ya, fucks.
Hey, that's
my line.
I know.
Bye, fucks.
I said see ya.